Well, you can forget about Astralis and Navi because we've got a game for you today. Cronus GG versus Bomber Esports. Going ahead to it, we do have Cronus into the server, just waiting on Bomber Esports. I'm joined by Farley. Link below if you want to follow the dude on Twitter. How are you doing today? Not spoken to you today, actually.
No, only briefly over text. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, you still sound the same, so
I ain't gonna change, am I? I hope not. Not in one night.
could have evolved.
Yeah, I'm not a monster from any of those horror films. Alright, I'm good.
You-
I don't eat people and then evolve.
You're not
Well, actually.
you're not
Anyway,
KSI.
anyway. Well, well, I ain't the first male with never mind. Anyway, yeah, no, not doing bad. We're good. I'm looking forward to this game. Just finished up watching the final game there. Not too bad. It's a pretty fun game to watch, and now we're heading into some UK CS, so it's going to be better. And I've seen the stats for this match, and I've got to say, it's going to be an interesting one.
Go on, let us know where do these two teams stand in terms
Okay,
of league positioning.
well, Cronus is currently the most one of the only teams in its division to be undefeated at 5-0, which is yeah, not. And I've just seen something in chat which has just made this match a whole lot worse.
What?
The rest of their team aren't online, so they're probably gonna have to forfeit unless they win the 1v5. But anyway, I mean, I'm not
Oh,
really surprised though because I've just seen that Cronus is 5-0 and Bombers 0-5. So I think this is one-sided if it does happen, but it's even more one-sided now.
well, it's very but the 1 versus 5 seems to have left, so we seem to have Kronos versus no one.
Insta win.
Probably
6-0 now.
probably time to panic. One moment
Probably.
while I message the admin.
It's not a way of forcing them in. Just be like, listen, just pick up 4 random people and let him play with them. Just anyone from MM, anyone from chat.
The bomber mix.
Yeah,
Just team finder, looking for 4 people to play tournament. Must be able to play.
immediately.
Must be able to play 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. I
uh,
mean, I think this might be why they're 0-5, unless they're genuinely just. I mean, I don't know why you would constantly not show up for your games, so I don't really know. I wish teams would be a bit more transparent in these situations. We have a Discord for a reason. We have admins for a reason. They're not telling any of the admins that this is happening. No.
it also doesn't help when we're trying to cast teams. It's the reason why we stopped our so what the whole
Mm,
style of us trying to do multiple in a row, trying to do
yeah.
the ones with 1 hour between. We've had to really sort of push down on how many games we can cast in one day.
Mm.
Um, Unfortunately, it's made quite the difference. To be fair, my crosshair is looking a little weedy for casting. Might have to look into that if we do get a game at some point. That being said,
Oh, I
we'll.
mean, hang
Oh, sorry.
on, wait. Let me just look. I mean, so our next game is in an hour's odd time, isn't it? I mean, I think that's the closest game to this time, at least.
Yeah, but it'll cut into the one
The one I do, yeah.
we're doing. So, fortunately, can't do that one. Gonna be a tricky one. What we'll do is we will cut to a pause one moment, and we'll just make a decision on what we're gonna do. Okay. Um. So stay tuned. It should be interesting to see what we do here because we have started a stream. We've started a cast. We may have to stop casting, come back later. Not so sure. We'll see if there's any content that we can that we can put in here. Be right back. One moment, please. Very sorry about keeping you guys in the dark. We have had a little bit of an idea. Um, we feel bad. We've started a cast and we aren't going to be able to provide the game that is on your screen at the moment. Bomber Esports are going to default and are unfortunately going to be disqualified due to not showing up. We do have an idea though. We expect that most people watching are probably avid CS players and potentially from even teams in the league. Cronus have agreed to simply just as a show match. This won't count into anything in terms of statistics. But we would like to know if anyone from chat would be interested in forming into a. It's a forfeit loss, by the way. Must make that one very clear. Forfeit loss, not a disqualification. Forfeit loss for Bombers Esports. That being said, we've spoken to Kronos, and just as a little bit of fun before we move into our more serious match later on in the day, we would like to know if anyone would be interested in being in a little bit of a mix for us. Going up against Cronus.gg, we would like to see if we can get a mix of a bunch of different people from teams, and just make something interesting out of it, really. Give Cronus a game to play. If anyone is interested, message me over Twitch. My name is at Incy underscore on Twitch. Send me a DM on Twitter. My Twitter link is on your screen at the moment. Alternatively, if you have me on Steam or if you have me on Steam, message me on Steam. If we can get 5 people together, we can go ahead with this. Failing that, then we will have to just see you later in the second game. So, would anyone be interested in going against Cronus.gg? Bit of a strange one.
It's probably the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's like a charity match. Tell them to go matchmaking and cast it. Trust me. And at this point, it's one of these things where it frustrates me as well because it's like, you know, it's just unfortunate because you're
Yeah.
in a league and it's like, you know, it's just like one of those things where you should kind of show up for those. But you didn't. So, I mean, failing to do this, we could always obviously what's it? You could we could always do like some analysis on some previous games, just talk about it or whatever. But obviously, it'd require knowing
Yeah,
stuff.
naturally it's up to chat, but failing everything, we will have to just pause the stream. That's all. It is completely up to the demand, really. We have promised to stream. We do have a bit of time. We've got 2 hours until our next scheduled game.
Hmm.
So
I mean, let's be honest though. Uh, finishing finishing all this anyway. I mean, by the time the game for like the little show match thing gets done, it's still probably gonna have about an hour and a half left, which is like. I mean, at least we're streaming something. By the way, the live thing and the Twitch looks a bit weird.
oh yes.
Looks a bit
I don't know what
off.
you're on about. It's disappeared.
Yeah, maybe I'm just seeing things. Anyway, I don't know. I don't think many people in chat are really interested.
Well, if no one's interested in forming a mix and having a go at taking down Cronus, then we may just have to look into what else we can do. If anyone has any suggestions or anything we could do, we will not be, I'm afraid, casting a matchmaking game. I think that's probably not what this channel's about, I'm afraid.
Be a bit more interesting than what we've just got. So, but still, yeah, not what we're looking to do.
So yeah, last chance. If anyone is interested in this mix, going ahead, speak now. That being said, we will
Probably just have to call it a stream, right?
probably have to call it a stream. Yes, indeed.
Yes, like I said, I mean it's unfortunate because obviously, the players are expecting to play, us casters are expecting to be able to cast the game, RDYUP's expecting their games to go ahead. I mean, it just creates problems for almost everybody, um, which isn't fun. Obviously, no one wants to be waiting around all day, uh, or at least for this long, just for a match that isn't going to happen. So it's unfortunate, but
We may have something going ahead. Just bear with me a moment. It all depends if I can get Steam IDs.
Okay. So that Astralis game was pretty interesting. Navi did a Nova did a decent job at holding off, but obviously falling to them. Nuke was a bit of a weird pick. Not sure what was going on there.
Sorry about this. I'm just getting all the necessary stuff done here. Just getting sort of just speaking with the administration as well for RDYUP. There's a lot of moving parts in this, so bear with me one moment. Okay, so what we're going to do is I just had to double check this with the administration team, but they are more than happy to go ahead with this. Is we are going to watch Kronos.gg.play. Play. What is wrong with me at the moment?
Are you alright today? Did you
I
take
think
something before
I think
coming on?
something's not going quite right. Anyway, just as a way of sort of filling the time, this isn't an official match or anything, so we don't expect the usual cast coming from us here. This will just be a bit of a warm-up game as we head into our game later on in the day, which is going to be Aerox and Bitpoint Academy. Can't wait for that one.
Which should go through. Let's only hope. That's the only thing we
y-
have to hold
well,
on to now.
you've just jinxed it now anyway, so
Hey, I just said let's hope. I never said it was gonna go. I never said it wasn't gonna. So didn't say either. So no jinxing yet. I'm just saying we can only hope it goes through. Because if it don't, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
just bear
Um,
with me. Oh, one moment.
I think casting an MM game might be in order.
Well, we're gonna do a scrim. Someone step forward. That's all.
Okay. Sure.
Where's my content? But yeah, we'll certainly try and get a game. I'm just failing to figure out how source works. That should do it. Plus, there we go. Okay, so we've got Cronus GG versus. I'll find out who the other players are called. Hold on. So I'm just getting sorted out here. One moment, please. You need to join spectators for this one, by the way. We're gonna just go straight in
I need an invite though. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it now. So I'm gonna send you something because it's a hyperlink. You're gonna need to remove the HTTP. I'll do it for you actually.
Okay, because I am incapable of removing.
There you go. Oh, I don't know what I've done there. Just paste either of them in. Okay, so we've got Kronos GG versus Mix. So
I need to think now. Okay, I'm removing the HTTP, yeah? Because you couldn't do it yourself. That's it. Alright.
well, I removed it, didn't I?
No, that's it then, yeah? Alright, cool, it is. Right, sure. Right, anyway, casting. There we go. I should come in. It should let me in. Mirage, yeah?
Yeah, it looks like we're just waiting for all the players to join. So, not your typical stream. We are going to watch... Yeah, Bomber Esports couldn't ready up. Good one. As we are going to see... Just wait for the players just to join in.
They missed most of their games. I take it that's how they're 0-5. I mean, it would make sense. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably just gonna spectate Cronus this game for the time being, at least, just so I can get an idea of how they play, who they are. Not really seen these players before, so be interesting.
We'll try and talk mainly about RDYUP as well during the game. Maybe talk about some other teams. Won't be a typical cast.
Yeah, I think everyone established that from the second we started debating possibly just getting people from chat to come play, because we're that desperate for a game at the moment. It's always a shame when stuff like this happens, you know. It ruins it for the viewers, it ruins it for us, it ruins it for the players. It's just like, you know, not to harp on about it, it's just like, you know, there's a system in place. If you need to reschedule, that's usually a good idea. Not leave it till last minute, you know. It's never fun for anybody. So, but I guess this is a nice thing for the team that's getting to be a part of the stream. We just had people not show up because of our poor performance throughout the tournament. Apologies to all though. No, I mean, it's not, you know, if players are being like that about stuff, it's usually not a good, I mean, that's not usually a good thing anyway, but I mean, it's not, obviously if there's people that wanted to play but just didn't show up because of poor performance, and obviously I think the thing to remember there is not all the players are to blame, but like I said, it is still unfortunate nonetheless. But honestly, I mean, we've seen some poor performances from teams and they haven't disbanded and stuff. Usually it's just about coming back from it and making sure you learn from the experience. I think that's really why anybody would join a league. It's just so they can watch demos and get that more, you know, the more experience for their team and learn a lot more. That's usually the point.
You can guarantee the vast majority of the time the people you're coming against are going to be taking it seriously. There's money on the line here. Not everyone's going to win though, unfortunately. And if you know it's a league, and you're gonna have to have bottom players. So it's one of those things. It does happen. That being said, let's have a little look at RDYUP in general. Yeah, just waiting on.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the Bitpoint and Eros game later on?
We certainly can. I am, however, just going to start over in Div 1. It's interesting to note that... hold on, sorry, I just need to clarify something.
Okay. It's interesting to note that he's clarifying something.
Sorry. Before I open my mouth and say something that could be wrong, I want to check it's correct.
What, the Bitpoint being 4-0?
Okay, so the good thing we talk about at the moment is we are, in some teams' cases, group stages are done. So we have 7 games. So, and I think this is going to answer your question for the person that's asking about who do we think is going to take the entire tournament. And I'm just going to move through the leagues, just give everyone a standing, and then me and Luke can talk a little bit more detail about what we think to it all at the moment. So, in terms of Div 1, this is the division which is quite competitive. Luxor Esports, Bitpoint.gg, Cajun's Money Crew, Hypnotic Gaming, Omen, and unfortunately 3 teams which have been a little bit lackluster. Now, at the moment, Luxor Esports are at the top of Division 1. We've seen 7 played, 5 won, 2 lost at 15 points. Now, the important thing there isn't the win, the loss, or the points. The important thing there is they've played 7. Bitpoint GG are on 12 points. They're 3 points behind them. However, they've played 4 games. So it's going to be incredibly easy for them to move higher than them in terms of the division.
If they win.
Yeah, if they win, exactly.
It's always worth knowing.
And I will just...
Like, it's never nice to like just assume that someone's just gonna. I want to clarify as well. Division 1 for me personally, just as a caster, has been one of my favorite divisions to cast. Not because of I know the teams personally or because of this, that, or the other. It's genuinely just because of like the competitiveness of the entire division. You know, even the bottom 3 teams, it doesn't look competitive, but actually some of the games were. I mean, the 200 Knives games we watched, I think 200 Knives versus Cajun was one of the games that we actually early casted, or it might have been Sins versus Cajun, I can't remember. But you know, the 200 Knives games, they were fun to watch. The Sins game, I think we watched once, that was really fun. Omen games are really great to watch. Hypnotic, same story. So all these groups in Div 1 so far have not only been entertaining to watch, but we've had the least amount of trouble with. So yeah, worth noting that.
So just pausing that as we are at a pause, just waiting for this one to continue. Looks like we did miss a round as we were talking and going through the teams. That being said, we'll continue as to what I'm speaking. So Bitpoint GG, 12 points, 4 played. So definitely couldn't go over them. And it's a sort of similar situation at the moment for Cajun. They've played 6, so they've got 1 more to make this count, and they have 12 points. Hypnotic have played 5 and have 9 points, which just makes all of these teams almost on even points, really, if you think about it. Omen played 3, 6 points. They're probably in the same position at the moment as Cajun's Money Crew, if you think about potential. So it is a very strange one, Div 1, so a lot of teams there could win it. I would suggest at this point, Sines Gaming, 200 Knives and Vindicate Academy have probably going to struggle, simply due to games played that they have left.
It's worth noting that we're actually playing now, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just going to whack the sound up. That being said, I'm going to continue to talk about the league, simply with this being a mix. It's not one of our games, and we are not going to cast it to our normal style, as Kronos is going to pick up the first round. So,
sorry for cutting you off there, by the way.
No, it's okay. So Division 1 at the moment, I would suggest is a competition between 5 teams, looking for 4 places. So we're going to see either Luxor, Bitpoint, Cajun's Money Crew, Hypnotic, or Omen miss out on a chance to move up to the playoffs.
I feel strongly that it's going to be Bitpoint or Luxor that are going to be the two teams to possibly end up. One of them two are going to end up, you know, being overall the best. I think so far Luxor unfortunately lost 2 games worth noting in one day, in, you know, literally back-to-back losses in super close games. So that might have an effect on their team. That's why I think Bitpoint might end up overtaking them with points, just based on that, especially.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Just in the game at the moment, Fuzi in this scrim, just taking some kills. That being said, we'll move back on to the topic at hand as we see Kronos picking up the second round, getting some nice eco kills. So Division 2 is the team where we've got Aerox Esports looking very strong at the moment. 4 played for them and 4 wins in total. We've also got Team Ardent, who've played 5, won 4, lost 1. Bitpoint Academy are also in here. They've won 3 and they haven't lost either. So that's going to be our next game there, Bitpoint versus Aerox. Neither of them have either drawn or lost yet, so both of those are going to be looking for something. This is also the division with State, who have played 5, won 3, and lost 2. But anyone in this league, unfortunately, except really Luxor Esports Academy and Nitro Genius have a chance. So that's in Division 2. So Native, Antelope, State, Bitpoint, Team Ardent, and Aerox Esports all have a chance to get that top 4 position.
Who do you think? Go on. If you had to pick one team that really would.
One team to be the top of it, or one team to be
the best in the division by far. That is in, going forward now. Who do you think?
Who would I pin to win it?
Yeah, sure. In this div.
I
mean, for me it'd be Aerox.
In this division it'd be Aerox. But it'd be interesting to see how strong Bitpoint Academy is. They could prove us wrong in our next game.
Yeah, no taking away from them.
The thing about Bitpoint Academy is they're an academy team, but if you follow Bitpoint on Twitter, you'll find in some of the competitions and some of the tournaments that both Bitpoint Academy and Bitpoint play in, Bitpoint will surpass their main team in terms of placings on some of the events. So not something you kind of want to take away from them.
Yeah.
So if I was to place a top 4 from that league, it's difficult because I'm also trying to do players. I would suggest Aerox is going to be on the top. I'd suggest Bitpoint Academy are going to be your second, moving into the playoffs. I would suggest they are probably going to be followed by Antelope. Possibly, it's going to be rough. Then no, I'll change that actually. Aerox, Bitpoint Academy, Team Ardent, and Antelope. And I think State will unfortunately be the ones to miss out.
Okay. I'll talk about the 3 if you want real quick, because I already have it up.
Yeah, sure.
Right, so going down the list, we have Commando currently 5-0, which is obviously they've been playing really well. Le Magicians 4-0 with 1 draw. So, I mean, interesting to note that obviously Commando with 5 games played, 5 wins. Magicians with 5 played, obviously 4 wins and 1 draw. We watched that yesterday, their first tie, which was a crazy game, by the way. If you want to go back and watch that, with heavily suggested, super fun game to cast. The rest scale, obviously 4-2 at the moment, 6 games played, 5 games for 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Xinity, 5 played, 3-2. DDD, or Daddy Delicious Dancers, which is 2-4, but they have 6 played. No ties for them. Hypnotic Academy, which I believe they've
dropped out.
I could be wrong. Yeah, they've dropped out, so they're 1-6. I think they're just losing now by default.
I think it's the same for Serenity as well.
Yeah,
I'm not
Serenity
100% sure.
So we can almost guarantee now that the bottom 2 teams obviously not making it into playoffs at all. I would say even DDD possibly not making it in. Xinity could still be in with an opportunity, obviously, but right now the way that top 4 just in this division alone is playing, I think those are your top 4 that you need to look out for, because at the moment all 4 teams in that top 4 are super good. This is a stacked division, just like Division 1, where I couldn't call it, especially with Magicians in there. Could be close games.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting playoffs as well. I think we'll see a lot of our favourites move through to the playoffs, and we're going to see almost every game hopefully being tight. I think the division you've just talked about is one which, unfortunately, Commando Fucky do have a real advantage in. I think they are, unfortunately, leaps and bounds better than a lot of the teams in there, and they've made it show on a lot of the ones that we've cast.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be fair, just look at their score for score for versus score against. I mean, 64 to 21. That's a lot of rounds they haven't been losing. 43 score difference. They're really not losing rounds. I mean, I think their toughest opponent will be Magicians. I don't know if they've played already. I don't think we've casted any of that. It was probably worth me looking at the schedule there, but I doubt either team have played each other, seeming that obviously neither team have lost. So I would presume. A
really big game to point out, and it's one that we are definitely casting, will be because the Commando fucking Le Magicians have a game coming up at the moment, and that one I am gonna pre-hype the hell out of, and not for any other reason other than one of the Le Magicians players DM'd me saying that they were going to destroy, and I used the word destroy commando.
It's worth noting that Incy has just leaked a private conversation on the stream, which is probably not going to be respected by magicians after that one. But oh well, it's pre-hyped. No, you're not wrong. I mean,
it builds hype, okay.
Right? If you want to do that, look, that's your game, alright? No, I mean, no, you are right though. I mean, when players say stuff like that, it does make the game have a lot more weight to it. I'm sure Commander don't really care. They've probably heard that 100 times, 1,000 times, and it's not affected them. So we'll just have to see. Honestly, both teams, in my opinion, are super close to do a skill. I think Commando will probably take it, but then Magicians. I mean, both teams are playing for their first loss. Technically, Magicians. You could argue that they did get their first loss with a tie, as it doesn't count as a win. But one team in this division is walking away with a there, so unless it ties up on that one as well, which would be the ultimate annoying. It's just like, I want to see one team just trample the other. Personally, it'd just be so funny. Plus, also, it'd be a really interesting game to talk about. So
yeah, it'd be a really great game. I think both teams probably think they can beat each other. I think both teams have got that sort of pedigree to go ahead with this one, and especially in terms of their previous scores. I think the Magicians probably count themselves unlucky to have drawn that one with Emery's. But Emery's also a really good team as well, so don't take that one away from them either. So,
I mean, they're the ones that tied up with Magicians, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean,
that's what you're saying.
Able to tie up against the second overall team in their division, so it doesn't take anything away. Yeah. Again, stacked div. All top 4 teams there could be within a chance of really taking it away. To be honest, from Commando. Just have to see how the games go. Do you want to move on to Div 4, which I've already got pulled up?
Yeah, we can certainly move on to Div 4.
Do you want to talk about it first, or do you want me to talk about
it? Yeah, I'll have a little talk, and then we'll have a little look. So this is probably the one which we've covered least out of all of them. I'd probably even go as dangerously close to saying this is probably the first game we've cast from this division. Cronus GG, 6 wins, 0 lost, followed by Get Even, CLS, Crawley Crusaders. Top 3 there, I would suggest, are probably not going anywhere. All the teams in this division have played a very similar amount of games.
Yeah.
So they've all played a very similar amount of games. I think it's very clear that divided, and I think this is definitely nailing the coffin for Bomber now. Not going anywhere. Save the replay as well. 4 games played, 6 points. Definitely not over for them. Say at Esports, also 6 points. Find themselves in both 5 and 6. Drawing on points with Crawley. Probably a bit too hard to catch CLS, but the 4th spot there are just waiting. If you are just joining us on stream at the moment, we are just streaming Cronus GG, who were scheduled to play today. They did, unfortunately, their opposition, Bomber Esports, unfortunately not showing up to the arranged time. So we are just doing a little show match and just having a little talk about the league in a whole, and we are going to be moving on a little bit later on in the day to Aerox and Bitpoint Academy. Very big game. Both of those teams yet to lose in their division.
I do want to comment as well, obviously, about Division 4, just for those like said who are joining. We are going over the divisions at the moment. I think we're literally on the last one now. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, just in my opinion for Div 4, by the way, it's one of those divisions where I'm a bit worried for all the teams, just based on the fact that by the sounds of it, there's been a lot of default wins just based on teams not showing up. I mean, I think one of the players came in and said that they've had 3 defaults in a row. I think that was one of the players. I could be wrong 100%. But, I mean, 6-0 for Cronus. That's a great. I mean, that's a great win ratio right there. I mean, 100%, 6 games, 6 wins. Can't really take anything away from them, but as that last one technically was just a default for them because of a forfeit from the enemy team, it's like, I mean, it's difficult for me because I mean, if Cronus goes against, say, one of the top players like Luxor from Div 1, who do you reckon would take that? I mean, Cronus arguably maybe not have even played that many games in this because of the fact they've been getting defaults, possibly.
It's a case of judging a team based on the quality of their opposition rather than the amount of wins they've got in the league.
I don't know about that. I mean, to be fair, if let's say they've only played 2 to 3 games, because I mean, their score 4 versus score against is pretty weak. Or at least it's pretty one-sided, which makes me think that most of them has just been 16-0 defaults, just based on their stats right now. I think if they've only played those 3 games in this league and only had that like small chance to actually play against opponents that actually give them a challenge, then I mean we've seen Luxor. They've gone against some people that were like statistically doing better than them. And they managed to come out with a tie, or I mean with a win, or even obviously losing, but still keeping it very close. So I mean I don't know. It's I guess obviously just because I haven't watched them play, I shouldn't really comment. But at the same time, it's going to be difficult. I think anyone in this Div 4 team going forward, just based on the quality of the match or the quality of the records right now, it does look a bit uneven. I'd say. So I mean I'm interested to see how the Div 4 team goes. Just a comment right there. A complete whitewash for the CTs. But it was against pistols, I believe, so nothing special. But yeah, it's no, I mean Div 4 again. It's worth noting there. I think that possibly the record and the games actually played versus games that have been cancelled. I think it was worth noting.
If you were to call it now, and I said to you, there's £100, okay, 100 British pounds, okay, you can put that on whichever team you wanted to win. Okay, you'd have to be 100% confident in them, but you had to pick a team. Who'd you go for?
To win the whole thing would probably. For me, it's tough. It would be between Commando or possibly Luxor or Bitpoint. One of those 3 teams.
Commando, Luxor, a bit, but I need a final answer.
Mate, this ain't the game show. To be fair, just based off what I've seen, I guess, and how they played, probably Commando to retake it again. Although I don't know whether or not Bitpoint and Luxor are even in the previous, obviously the previous time that RDYUP has hosted this league. So if there has been, so I mean, yeah, for me it's difficult, but I'd probably say Commando just from what I've seen from them. But I would want to see probably Luxor take it.
Yeah.
I would like to see Luxor a bit.
What about Bitpoint Academy, man?
Again, it's difficult because I think, technically speaking, you can't really count any team out that's in the top 4 of their division right now. Because, like you mentioned, I mean, I feel like we've said it a lot. I feel like a lot of them are going to do something. It's just when I look at the divisions, like for instance, Hypnotic Gaming versus Commando, I still think Commando take it. Aerox, I think actually, I completely forgot they were even. I think Aerox could take it. To be fair, from what I've seen from them so far, they've been really impressive. So I don't know. It's really difficult. I mean, it'd be between. I guess actually now I've just remembered Aerox here. It'd be between Aerox or Commando. Possibly could see Magicians go really far. It's hard, dude.
I know it's a tough question. For those that are just joining for this one, if you're noticing maybe the camera's not right or the commentary's not quite following the game, this is a mix. This isn't our normal casting style. It's also not, we're not following this game as close, well, even remotely as close as any of our normal ones. I'm also in the Steam browser the vast majority of the time, so I'm very sorry if I'm not catching the action in game. If you join us on our later one today, I will be certainly casting a lot more of that action. We are at the moment just talking about this, about the league in general and about RDYUP and some of the teams in there while we just have this fill-in. The reason we're having this show match is because Cronus GG was supposed to go against Bomber Esports and we didn't have the full team show up, unfortunately. So we do have this mix, but we are just taking this time just to summarise the league for those that aren't fully familiar or watching some of the other ones. Definitely coming towards the end of it now. For those who are playing in teams, I believe the final date to get all your matches out of the way is the 28th.
Hang on a minute, right? We brushed past you. Who do you think's winning this whole thing?
You
No,
can't,
you're
you
not getting away
can't,
from
you
this one.
can't put that on me.
Yeah, well, no, 100%. If I was okay, same situation. You had 100. You had to bet it. You know, if you didn't, you'd end up lost in the woods and probably end up in a grave somewhere. What would you end up picking? Like, who do you think is the team that is going to take it? Yeah, I mean, you have to. I mean, let's be honest. I think it's only fair if you pick one.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's really tough. I think I would suggest it's so close. It really is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think with it being so close, I'd probably just go more with my pick for who. See, originally my pick was would be Aerox.
Yeah.
But now I've watched the teams and I've got to know a lot of the teams. I feel like it could be a lot of them. I maybe would say probably still Aerox, but then again we've seen some really great games from a lot of other teams, and I think I would probably be able to answer that question by the end of the group stage. By the end of the group stages, as we move into the playoffs, I could probably give you a definite answer to that one. Who I think's going to do it, or maybe just as we go into the playoffs. At the moment, though, it's too tricky. It is way too difficult.
Right, so we just had it confirmed there. He's too scared to cast, to cast a prediction, I guess you could say, into the future here. Unlike me, I mean, hell, I'm probably wrong, but I mean, I just got forced into doing it. It's only really fair he does it, but you know, he's too scared.
It's all right. You've announced yourself as a Commando Hockey fan, so.
What do you even mean? I said that all. I think top two in every div, in my opinion, is in with a chance of winning it. Like top two on every div is in within a chance of actually being able to do it. Maybe Division 4 is going to be a bit more questionable than others. So, like I said, I think Commando could take it again, but I would want to see someone new win it. I mean, Aerox, like you said, I could still see them winning it. They're really on form at the moment. I mean, Magicians are doing really well. It's so difficult. Like, it's so hard to predict, I think.
That being said, that about sums up the RDYUP leagues. I think we do have a few people who have been getting a
Mate,
little
your
struck.
FPS is like.
Oh, if you're watching the stream,
dropping.
that happens when I tab out. It's windowed mode. Yeah. So for those that are wanting us to do a bit of casting, I think we'll certainly give that a try. Now remember, this is a mix. This isn't a normal game. This has no standing in any of our leagues. We are just doing this just to fill content and do a little bit of build up. We've got the playoffs, and also later on at 8 o'clock, I think it is 8 o'clock. Yep, we've got the Bitpoint and Bitpoint Academy. So lots of hype for that one. Can't wait to see that one. That being said, if you've been following the game, because I know a few of you have, and I know a few of you are wanting us to start casting this one. Cronus GG versus the Mix. Cronus GG 9-8 at the moment, as we do see Cronus making a push towards middle. Bomb is also going to follow them as Wig gets a kill on T-Stairs. And definite advantage here to Cronus. Do have full IKs as we head into this one. Cronus almost looking like they're not fully sure where they want to go just yet, and Fiesta is going to find that player just sitting on A site. Wasn't expecting anyone to really come through mid. And Chicky gonna get taken down. I have not familiarized myself with the names at all. And just as I cast to Raffaele goes down, and Walker, Nori even, is going to have to safe in ladder room. So, good round for Cronus here in this little mixed show match we've got going on for you.
It's hard to really have too much of an opinion. I mean, like I said, I mean, neither of us, I don't think, have even casted the Cronus game before. So this is sort of the first taste, at least for me, at least. It's the first look into how they play. So
Just as we get in here, we'll get familiar with the name. So the mix is considered, or considered. Um, the mix has the players of Jestero, Chicky Bicky, Look Good,
nope.
Play Good.
You tried that
Chicky
last
Brick.
name.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Is it Hipponari?
Look Good, Play Good, Nori, Hardson. And we've got the team of Cronus GG with Fiesta, Pap, Lil Dan, Fuzi, and Wigstar. And Fiesta managing to find that player, and Nori nearly with a smart play, possibly trying to get behind the T's. And looks like we are going to see a B bush. Raffaele is going to potentially get caught out here by Fiesta. Does give away his position, walks straight out to the T's, and somehow their attention is taken to the player who's in kitchen. Barros got a little bit of work to do here, and looks like he is going to get flanked by the player of Pap.
Yeah, I mean, easy around there for Cronus. Getting on site, winning the gunfights they need to, keeping a lot of players alive. This round is looking like it's going to go in favour of Cronus again. Pistol's probably going to come in through, yep, from the CT side. Low money. They're going to need to win this round if they want to try and grab a lead again, or at least tie up. So,
Going to be going to be a tricky one for them. Hardsan on a USP. And I think Hardsan probably going to be the first one to go down. Certainly is, as Lil Dan tries to take out a few, and an absolute combination there of Lil Dan, Fuzi, and Fiesta all in mid, just absolutely annihilating these pistol players.
Exertion, to answer your question, mate, they're 6-0 currently in their division. The strongest team, I think they have the most wins out of every team so far, with being undefeated, I think, out of all the divisions. So, but the information I think we had in chat, some of them might have been forfeit wins. So I don't know. I don't really know how good they are. I mean, this is just a mixed game, so don't put too much weight on the game. It's just them, I think, playing around, really just giving the stream some content, helping us casters out. So shout out to them anyway. I can't really answer that until we watch an actual game from them.
Yeah, we did promise a game to you. We don't know the level of the opposition. We really don't know enough in terms of skill for this one. That being said, does provide us with something to show you, as we did promise that we would be casting a game as we get closer to the playoffs, and once we pass the point of these group stages, we do lose the teams that aren't going to be as dedicated, or going to potentially show up due to poor performance. And Chicky with a really good boost, but not quite able to make it count, as Fiesta's going to get the bomb down. 2v2. And look good, play good. Needs to play good. Does see Papa, but he's giving away his position, and he's moving the wrong way here if he wants to take this, and he looks like he's going to save the M4.
Yes, some stuff that gets talked about in chat. It's something that comes up quite frequently, and it is something that I am a little bit passionate about in terms of expressing RDYUP. It isn't going to be filled with players which are your top 2 or top 5, top 10 in the UK. This is just a league filled with people who are trying to make something of themselves and prove something, and they're all hungry players. They're all people that, none of them are going to be labeled as insane. But if you were to watch the matches, it's worth noting that the games actually are super close, and some of the things you see are really actually quite insane. Some of the shots, some of the plays, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this league, which I think if you keep a close eye on and you're invested into RDYUP, I think you would notice. So it's worth noting that, just for future reference.
Hardson. Couple of Deagle Gills, and yeah, going on to what Farley's just said there, we do have some actually really good teams in here. We've got, if you you know, anything at all to do with the UK scene, you've got teams like Aerox who have beaten, you know, in some of their games outside of the league, they've beaten teams from some of the, you know, players from some of the best UK teams recently, and that's why I think they've got a really good chance in this tournament. And you know, we've got some other really, you know, good-looking organisations that are also part of the league. That being said, it is an amateur league, and that should always be kept in mind.
Yep. Worth noting that right now things are not looking good for the CTs, and I've got to admit, none on the CT side right now really playing that good. But it is their first kind of attempt now to take away the round lead of Cronus, to see how they hold against the T side. Quite a bit of utility already being used by Fuzzy or Fuzzy, depending how you want to say it.
Yeah, I'd suggest this could be Cronus' chance to run away with this little scrim.
Yeah.
Nora needs to be careful. Doesn't want to make any noise where he is at the moment. Potentially has a really great spot here to spot anyone who boosts or tries to go short to B. And we could actually see that push now, and Nori gonna make that count quite a lot there. 2 great kills. Gonna definitely make a big stunt in this B push. Oh, poor nade though, as that bounces back towards Pap, and Pap is gonna be on his own, gonna go down, and just as we think Cronus might have a chance here at running away with it.
Yeah, look good play, good cons, you know, they cheeky little 3k. Good information there into apps, just doing that little jump. Slightly risky, but they didn't expect it, so good play by him. Now the economy on the T side is looking a bit weak, so we'll have to see how they play this round. 3 AKs, 2 Deagles, but a good amount of utility, so they can take something. It looks like they're actually going for an A execute here, so it's looking good for them so far.
I genuinely thought that smoke wasn't going to land then. Ooh, nearly some great stuff here from Hardson. So we're going to see these Kronos players now try and push onto A side. There's only 2 of them left, and oh, Pap going to get completely caught out there as we see a player jump off stairs.
Just to answer Exertion, I mean, not necessarily to answer it, just to address it. Obviously, yeah, there's going to be a lot of close games coming up. We'll just have to keep everyone informed of what games we're going to be casting, because it's going to be a thing of like whether or not we're going to be able to pick and choose, or whether or not it's going to be a thing of RDYUP letting us know what they want us to cast. So it's more of a thing of us just finding out closer to the date. So keep up to date with our Twitters. That goes for everyone as well. Again, you can see them in the bottom right of the screen. I'm gonna go follow us on Twitter, either of us.
Oh no, I could get so many here. Doesn't quite make that count. Look good, play good. He's going to be the first to stop this barrage, but he has got some backup on its way. Must be watching out here as we do have these CZs. But not going to be too difficult for our mixed team.
Yeah, Fiesta barely managing to even land all those shots for the CZ there on, I think it was looking play good. Knocking him down almost to about 38 HP. I mean, unfortunately, it gets cleaned up from market, so not looking good inside, but utility on them, so it's looking good at the moment.
And for those who are interested, we are coming up to 13-12. Once this game comes to its natural end, we will not be staying live for too long. We are going to jump off and set up for our feature game of the evening. It's feature now that we only have 1 game. So, that being said, we are going to have to pop off and vanish once this ends, once this little scrim that we've decided to cast for you ends. But that being said, definitely tune in 8 PM British summertime. Luxor Academy and Aerox Esports are going to battle it out, and we may see one of those teams pick up their first loss. So big game. Tune in for that one. It's rocking about. I have to lean around my monitor to see the time. About an hour from now. So once this ends, get a bit of food, get a drink, get some snacks. Because one team's going to have their winning streak completely broken. I said Bitpoint Academy, didn't I? Or did I say
Well, you've been saying Bitpoint the entire time without referencing Academy. To be fair, so I mean it is a bit confusing for some teams.
rewind it, enhance it? I said Academy. I said Luxor. There you go. We were all wrong. Yeah, Bitpoint Academy. Sorry about that one. Bitpoint Academy. I was right about the statistics though. I know who I'm talking. I do know him in my own little head. I know who we're referencing. Bitpoint Academy and Aerox coming very soon.
Yeah, to answer the question as well was obviously is Emery or Omen, sorry, any good? I mean, yeah, they've got 3 games played so far, but I'm not too sure. I think some of their games have just been rescheduled. Any teams that do have a lack of games are probably going to have to catch up and play them pretty soon. There are a few teams, I believe, with only 3 played. Then Bitpoint Academy is one with only 3. I believe there is a team in Decision. No, I think that's actually it. Never mind. So there's two teams with only 3. I think they keep getting their games rescheduled. So I don't think they're dead. I think it's just their teams they're playing against aren't committing to the matches, or at least having to be rescheduled. So we'll have to see. But obviously they've got one coming up. So I think Omen does have a game coming up. So possibly, I don't know, unless they've withdrawn from the league without me knowing. At which point I'd probably have to say then. It's unfortunate. 13-14, however, heading into 28th round. Not looking good for Cronus, however. No utility. Well, a lot of utility, but obviously they're down a round. They do need to make something happen this round. So
Yeah, this little mix giving us a chance to talk about the league and the competition in a whole. For those who aren't joining us, this is a mix and not the standard game that we were hyping up previously over Twitter. Kronos very nicely decided to still put on a game for those who are interested in watching this team, maybe scoping them out as they may be opposition in the playoffs for you.
just an FYI, the stream title has been updated. So if any of you guys were wondering and you haven't refreshed your Twitch, that is why the title has been changed now. Obviously, Cronus versus Phoenix. It's a show match. Nothing. No weight to this match at all. It's just a fun little match that we get to cast and just talk about the things that we think are relevant into the RDYUP League. And I hope you guys have some information coming up into the future matches. And it's
Good play, good is
not looking good.
5 bullets doesn't even need it apparently.
It's not looking good for Cronus right now. 2 rounds down. It's match point in favor of the mix. We'll just have to see what they do this round. Their money is actually going to be somewhat decent for the T's. A little less utility than I think they would like.
Fiesta, 33 kills to 18 deaths on this Mirage. Okay, so rundown of the competition in terms of the way it works. So I'll start from divisions, and then I'll move through to playoffs. So you've got your divisions. In total, we've got 4 divisions. The top 4 of each division will move through to the playoffs. So if you think about where your team is in its current state, we've got a lot of teams that give up very quickly if they're in the bottom 2. But if you look at your games played, or you look at who's in 4th place, you'll find that maybe you've got a really good chance of still doing something, even though we're coming to the end of these group stages. Once you're in the playoffs, I believe there probably is structure to it in terms of the winners of the divisions. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not too sure myself. What I'll do is I'll get that clarified for you while we're watching this game.
Well,
I know I won't.
little bit too late for that, but good game.
It shows you how much attention I've been paying really to the scrim. That being said, thank you very much to both teams there for doing the scrim for us. 13-16 Kronos not able to pick that one up, unfortunately. That being said, thank you very much for just putting on some content for the stream, allowing us to talk about the league as well. While that's been playing, gives someone who's wanting to watch Kronos a bit of footage, and it also gives something for the other teams, just wanting some general topic to be discussed. That being said, we're not going to go over that game. That was just a scrim. We're not going to talk about any after game in terms of that one. We are going to take the stream down for a little bit of time, set up for our next game, Bitpoint Academy. And Bitpoint, I'll emphasize, not Luxor, Bitpoint. Bitpoint Academy versus Aerox. Going to be a really big game. One of these teams is going to lose their winning streak. I'll see you all.
Well, hang on. Before you end it, worth noting there, could end up in a tie. So we have seen it before. Just still worth noting, you know. Don't want to throw you off your game. It's a good way to segue out, but
No, it still is.
I mean, yeah, no, 100%.
You lose your winning streak if you draw.
Well, I mean, it's not a loss though.
Yeah, but that would be an undefeated streak. There's a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought you were referencing an undefeated streak. So I mean, a winning streak and an undefeated streak are somewhat similar.
No, they're not though.
Well,
A winning streak is a streak of wins.
Somewhat similar, isn't it?
A winning streak is a streak of wins. An undefeated streak is a streak of being undefeated.
Streak of wins without losing.
No, an undefeated streak means it's a streak of not being defeated. If you draw a game, you are not defeated. But if you draw a game, you also don't win the game.
Yeah, but my point there was that it's a streak of wins without
we're gonna take a little break, unfortunately, while I educate my co-caster.
We're back at 8, right?
Yeah, we're back at 8. Educate my co-caster on the difference between undefeated and winning streak. There is a difference.
What match would you like updated or uploaded?
If it's the match we've just done, it'll automatically just go to the videos. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon for the next game.